Welcome back to another episode of the Cohn Phone. I am the lead Cohn today, Grant Cohn. I'm going to be taking your calls. But what I like to do before I take your calls, the call-in link is already in the description if you haven't noticed, is just give you guys a little icebreaker, a little conversation topic, starter, something or other. And today, what's on my mind is Justin Fields again, because I find that guy so fascinating. Anytime anyone says anything critical of him on Twitter, they're basically canceled. And they have to come back the next day and say, I'm really sorry. There's a lot of good things about Justin Fields. I don't know what I was thinking. So he's the people's champ. Everyone loves Justin Fields. That's who 75% of Niner fans want the Niners to draft. What's interesting, though, is that the report is that Kyle wants Mac Jones. The personnel department wants Trey Lance. No one wants Justin Fields. Why is that? What is it about Justin Fields that turns off the 49ers if the reports are true? They like Trey Lance. At least the scouting department does. They like Mac Jones. Apparently everyone likes Zach Wilson. But there's something about Justin Fields that is turning off certain teams. Gil Brandt said certain teams gave him a fourth-round grade. Dan Orlovsky said certain teams question his work ethic. And then he had to come back and say, I'm sorry, I talked to Ohio State, and they said he's a hard worker. There seems to be rumors floating around about Justin Fields that people are afraid to say publicly because you'll get canceled. It's very interesting, but it seems like the Niners aren't touching him with a 10-foot pole. I could be wrong. They like Mack. They like Trey. They don't like Justin. Why? What is it about Justin? Is Justin really a worse prospect than Trey Lance? I'm curious. So Korean Niner, if I see you a little later, you can come on, but I don't see you right now, so I'm going to Rico. What's up, Rico?
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. I just wanted to call in. I was going to call in yesterday, but it didn't work out. But I just wanted to sort of talk about defending if they end up going with Mac Jones at number 3.
Sure.
After looking at some of his tape, I feel like he does a real good job of throwing like a good yak ball.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, a lot of the weapons that the Niners have are sort of built for that.
Yeah.
So I think that would work out great. I remember, what was it, like the Rams game when, Garoppolo had all those Jimmy Gimmies. And I remember you talking about that. And you were saying like, oh, why doesn't he do that for Mullins? Why doesn't Mullins get those? And then I forget which game it was, but Mullins got a lot of those Jimmy Gimmies. And I felt like with Mullins, he was throwing them just a little bit in the wrong spot, just be a little bit behind the guy. Mm-hmm. And instead of getting like 10 or 20 yards, the guy would get like 2 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a throw that it may seem really easy to make, but if you're just a little bit off, then the person's not going to get any yak at all. And I think Mac Jones is going to do a real good job of getting a lot of yak with that. So
that's a great point. I see a lot of like Niner bloggers scouting quarterbacks, and they're like, look at this amazing throw that he makes 50 yards down the field or this across the field. It's like, that's great, man. That's super great. But the 49ers offense is like 50% short throws. And if you can't do that stuff extremely well, then you're just going to hold back the offense, because that deep throw down the sideline will come once a game, if that. Right?
Yeah.
So Jimmy actually is very good on the short stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what this offense has been constructed to be, not just philosophically, but with the playmakers. So Mac Jones, if you watch the film, he's very good on all the screens, the slants, the RPOs, the quick stuff. He has a very quick release, and he places the ball where it needs to be. That's why he gets the Joe Montana comparison, even though he's not Joe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Rico.
And then,
good point. Keep going.
And then, one more thing real quick is that, I keep seeing all the analysts talk about, oh, the NFL's changing and you got to have a mobile quarterback. That's the future.
Say it.
It's funny because
what about that 43-year-old quarterback who just won the Super Bowl, right?
Well, yeah, I was looking it up, and if you look at the past 10 years, I mean, that's obviously as modern as it gets. In the past 10 years, I think it was only 2 mobile quarterbacks who won the Super Boul.
That's right.
And it was
who were they? Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, and it's like both those guys, I mean,
are great quarterbacks.
Even if Mahomes broke his legs, he'd still be a top 5 quarterback. So
exactly. And that's the thing, like the mobility for a quarterback is not a substitute for pocket passing acumen. It's a bonus. It's a great bonus. But you can't, it's not a substitute. And if you have a quarterback, like if you feel like Justin Fields is not proficient as a quarterback, but he has all these other things that make up for it, they don't make up for it. They're supposed to be a bonus, not as I just said.
Yeah.
So good point, Rico.
Yeah, I thought of like an analogy that maybe you could relate to. Like it'd be like, someone who's, talking on TV or on YouTube. I mean, obviously, like, the more attractive you are, the better that would be for a career like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the content, all the good looks in the world isn't going to make up for it. So
yeah, you're gonna lose your audience in about a day. So good point. Yeah. Good point. Hey, great call to kick off the morning, Rico. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yep, you too.
Hope you come back. Sorry I didn't get you yesterday.
All
right, for sure. All right, Korean Niner. I saw you yesterday. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great. Where are you calling from?
I live in Rockford, Illinois, in between Bears and Packers country.
Oh, nice. Cheers, man. What's going on?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Drinking some coffee, waking up, talking Niners.
Yep. Oh, that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that your dad is doing much better. I was wondering what he was going through, if it was that bad. And it was like, with the back, you can't screw with that.
Yeah, thank you. He's doing much better, and he got a second COVID shot yesterday, so he's looking up. Did I lose you? He's coming back. Hold on.
So sorry about
coming back.
Connection. Probably not the best.
That's okay. There you go. I knew you were coming back. All right. So what's on your mind? Let's do this before your connection craps out. All right. You really do need good internet for these things. It's tough, right? Sorry.
I don't trust John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan with the number 3 pick.
Okay.
That's just me, just based on what the drafting track record has been. Because
we can go through it.
They could have gotten Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson in 2017.
Right.
Granted, who knew that they would pan out the way those two quarterbacks did? And then
the Chiefs knew.
The Chiefs and Texans knew at the
time. No, you're right.
But it's a great thing that Adam Peters is, finding all these late round and undrafted free agents that are contributors and solid players as depth for the team. The second point is, and then I'll stop talking and let you go. Let
you're good, man. You're doing great.
It's I'm having lunch, so
sure.
So my second point is since we moved up to get this third pick this year with trading all the assets we did, I might as well go for the upside because Mac Jones is safe and there's nothing wrong with that. If I wanted safe, I'd go, try to get a quarterback like him later in the first round or maybe in the third or fourth round. But I'm going to go for the upside, and I'm going to say you may as well go get Justin Fields or Trey Lance. And I have no problem with them being one-read quarterbacks for the main reason that aren't majority of quarterbacks taught if your primary read is open, you throw the ball to them and have them try to make the plays.
Yes.
I don't want to overcomplicate things, and that's just how I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Plus, Justin Fields and Trey Lance, they were at schools where their first read was open a lot, so they were just executing. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just the way I look at it, and if we want to make it, I'm an engineer, so I could overcomplicate things real quick. But why? Let's if we're doing things that are working, I don't want to stop doing those things unless I'm being stopped. Unless my opposition is proving to me that hey, we're able to stop and limit what you're doing.
The only thing about I hear a lot of people say, hey, look, we swung for the fences. You got to take the guy with the upside. I look at it the other way. Like you just mortgaged your future. You got to get something. You got to get not the safest, but you can't mortgage your future for a really big risk.
Yeah.
It's like taking your life savings and putting it on 27 on a roulette table. It's like, it might hit. It really might hit. But, dude, you're probably going to lose all your savings. How does that feel? So the way I look at it is like, look at the downside for each guy. And we'd be like, which one are you most comfortable? Because you don't know which one what's going to happen with these. That's something to think about, though. But I'm just conservative by nature in that way. I'm scared.
Oh, I completely understand and agree. So,
yeah.
So,
all right, man.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks for calling in from Illinois and bringing in those points. I appreciate it, dude. Good to see you. I know I've seen you around before. I'll see you next time.
No problem.
All right. Thank you. Take care. Hey, Sai. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I missed you last week. I was up in Tahoe.
Oh, yeah. I figured that.
Yeah.
I was wondering, why is there no Sunday? Actually, Sunday works out better because Yeah, during the week it's crazy. I barely catch up to things like by the end of the day, and then Saturday is when I catch up to a lot of your talks and sort of form my opinion as well. So Sunday works.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely some week and really exciting, and especially your tweet on the throwing motion became a legendary stuff. So
That one took off. Oh well.
I know. So Grant, what I wanted to talk was, I know that last week when I reached out to you, I was pretty convinced out of the gate that this was for Zach Wilson. I
Me
couldn't
too.
see a scenario where they traded up all the way and they didn't go for the real dude, right? And which is why I always felt that they somewhere knew what Jets were going to do and they were going to trade up to 2. I could see that coming. But after I thought about it a bit more during this week, and of course listening to a lot of the stuff that happened during the week, I feel that I'm ready to lock my pick as Trey Lance. And
Oh wow. Tell me.
I think this is. I feel more and more confident that this is the pick. And first of all, shout out to Big Face Kev as well. His article, I really like.
Very interesting.
Article.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And
yes.
And also his writing style was really good. Something that I really liked.
He's good.
It was a really good find by you. Anyways, I think these are the things. What I feel is, I don't think Kyle fell in love with a guy in just this past month and a half.
I agree. That's a good point.
I feel that this is something that happened last summer. I mean, imagine this dude coming out of the Super Bowl loss when his quarterback underperformed and he's frustrated and you have COVID, sitting at home watching tape.
Yep.
I think Kyle watched a lot of tape last summer and he fell in love with Trey Lance. That's my guess in any ways. It's just that, I mean, if you think about it, last year, who had the best tape and the best performance?
Trey Lance.
I would say it was Trey Lance. So
yes.
I felt that he fell in love with him that time. He started fantasizing about him. And of course, there was no season this year. So maybe Kyle was curious to see if he would fall down a bit more. But after the pro day happened, I think that was out of the window, because Trey Lance pro day, he just blew the top off, right? And it became.
And Shanahan said, I didn't go to that pro day because I didn't want to tip off my desire to find a quarterback at the time. Remember?
Exactly. So I feel that it became pretty obvious he's going to be top 5, and most likely Atlanta. There was a lot of rumors that Atlanta was going to pick him. I feel that's what prompted him to get to number 3, because he wanted to go after Trey Lance. So that's number 1.
There's another way to look at it real quick, though, is that the Niners have been fantasizing about Deshaun Watson. And once that fantasy went up in smoke, they had to cobble together a new fantasy real quick. And maybe they traded up to number 3 without really having a target in mind. You know, maybe this is more of a desperation move than we're willing to give him credit for.
Yeah, I don't know. With Kyle, I just find it so hard. I mean, this guy knows. I mean, he doesn't fall in love with the quarterback so fast. And I don't think this is happening. Everything else is smokescreen around this. This is Kyle's guy. The guy Kyle wants to get it. That's what I feel is happening here. The second thing is, again, I know that Kyle has talked about this quite a bit in the past, right? For him, it's very important for him to be able to project a quarterback. That guy should have played in the pro style offense. And
that is true.
And I feel that, again, that's another reason why Trey Lance, I mean, that dude plays in as close to a pro style offense as you can. I believe, but I was watching some of the videos yesterday. They even have a fullback who wears 44. I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It's like, that's exactly the same offense. So for him, it's much easier to project from that style of an offense, which is another reason. And experience is one thing that against him, but I don't think Kyle cares that much about experience, because he always thinks that, hey, experience, even with Jimmy, he was very patient, right? He feels that you can get the experience over a period of time. And for that matter, any quarterback coming from college, it's not that, hey, you might have played a few more games, but it's not that you have all the experience, right? So
plus, what he's going to say is all these quarterbacks this year are inexperienced.
Exactly. So
he's going to say that.
Yeah, exactly. That's number 2. And number 3, what I feel is red zone offense. And I know that you have talked about this in the past as well. I feel that Kyle's offense, it needs a new dimension in red zone. Now, there are 2 ways to go about this, right? One, you can have these massive pass catchers the way Tampa Bay has with the Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Right.
But I don't think Niners have any of those pass catchers. And even Kittle, he's not a big red zone threat. I think putting Trey Lance, it adds a completely new dimension to red zone, and it's going to become unstoppable, the offense in the red zone. And I think that's really what Kyle wants, because if you look at Kyler Murray, he ran so many designed runs in the red zone, and that was one of the reasons why their offense was explosive last year. And if you see what Sean Payton does with Taysom Hill, right, that running element of quarterback in the red zone,
it's huge.
It's so critical. It's huge.
It's taking over. I mean, look at Cam Newton in New England.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost something you have to have.
Yeah, exactly. So
and you saw Kyle try to do it a little bit with Jared McKinnon.
Yeah, exactly. And
Not
I
funny.
think, yeah, these are three reasons why I feel it's Trey Lance. Now, coming to Mac Jones, I feel it's a little bit overrated that Kyle would pick somebody because that guy is the smart dude and who can think through everything. Because if you think about it, Kyle is the smart guy. Yeah. It's again, I don't think Kyle needs like somebody who's like super smart, but he doesn't want somebody. At the end of the day, he needs a guy who can execute things. I know that Jimmy is probably, for whatever reason, he seemed to be on the lower end, but I don't think he needs an elite processor because Kyle is doing all the thinking. He just needs a guy who can go and execute on the field. The second thing is, if something breaks down, he needs the athletic talent to bail Kyle out. I mean, if you think what happened to Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl. Like, there was a blitz and he couldn't react because he couldn't move. And same with Jimmy. So I feel that.
But Trey Lance can actually like make guys. He can break tackles.
He does break tackles. He needs somebody to bail him out, and also purely from a locker room perspective, I just feel that you bring in a guy with the talent, then everybody believes in that, right? I mean, you cannot bring in a rookie who's played 15 games and say like, hey, this guy is an elite processor, which is like Mac Jones, and the rest of the locker room would go like, what do you say?
Well, let's see about that on the practice field. And anytime he throws a pick, it's like, well, Kyle, you know what you're talking about.
Exactly. And it's not like you're bringing in Brady or Breeze, right? When you're talking about elite processor.
No, it's not Mac Jones.
It's still a rookie.
Still Mac Jones.
It's
still Mac Jones.
I just feel that this whole thing about Mac Jones is a smokescreen, and Kyle is going to go for the talent, the elite talent. And I strongly believe that it's going to be Trey Lance. And even if you think about Chris Sims, he says a lot of things about Justin Fields, but Trey Lance, it's always about, hey, he needs more experience. He needs more experience.
I agree. Yeah. He has nothing specifically critical to say about Trey Lance other than, he's just green. Like with Justin Fields, it's like, no, his mechanics are an issue. He doesn't pick up blitzes. He can't find a hot read. It's like blah, 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 blah. I'm with you on that. And if the Niners want to keep Jimmy Garoppolo for a while, then they can afford to develop. My only thing with Trey Lance is I feel like best case scenario for him is he's a 3-year project like Josh Allen was. Do the Niners have that kind of time? I mean, they think they're in a Super Bowl window right now.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I think that's where Kyle comes in. I feel that he feels probably with his scheme and his coaching that he can
and the playmakers in place,
and he can get him ready sooner. And again, he's played in that exact same offense. And the other thing I'm wondering, and I don't know whether it's true, like Trey Lance obviously had the year off. Like, do you think Mike Shanahan would have spent some time with him during that off season? Is that even possible?
We'll find out. Maybe. I don't know. That'd be great to know. I'd love to know. Yeah.
I don't know.
He was just hanging out. What was he doing? He wasn't playing football. So yeah.
Exactly. I just feel that guy is the dude.
Also, one more thing about Trey Lance, he's huge. Like, he's way bigger than he looked when he played in 2019. It looks like he's going to end up being like really, really huge. He looks for a 20-year-old. Wow, he could end up being like the best athlete in the NFL. Yeah, exactly.
And given what Russell is, I mean, imagine Mac Jones. Like, he'll still be the 4th best quarterback in the division.
No question.
Another reason. Like, whereas if you put Trey Lance with his athletic skills, like, dude, I mean, if this guy works out, that's your. I mean, if you think about Elway, Steve Young, and all the athletic quarterbacks that the Shanahan system has, they need somebody like Trey Lance. Is what I think.
Well, thank you for laying out. I mean, you and Big Face Kev have really been convincing me that that's going to be the pick. I could see it. It seems like maybe Kyle wanted Mac Jones, but isn't going to be able to sell that to the fans or to the organization. I mean, who wants McCorkle? I don't think anyone does. So if it's down to Justin Fields or Trey Lance, I think he's going to go
Right.
Lance for the reasons you explained.
I still think that's a big smokescreen. I cannot. I mean, again,
What's
like
the point of having the smokescreen at this point, though? So the Jets don't take Trey Lance?
I don't know. But I almost feels like you remember in the half season where every quarterback Kyle liked.
Yeah.
I feel that this is coming from somewhere else, that people want to, hey, like Kyle liked, so he must be good, and maybe it's the Mac Jones camp who's trying to promote this. I just find it so difficult to believe, because in off season, Kyle wanted every quarterback. It's like you didn't know half the things.
You wanted Gardner Minshew. You wanted Sam Darnold. Yep.
Exactly. You don't know who's creating this, but
it's true.
I just don't see Kyle going for a non-athletic. Then where does his coaching and his scheme come into play? Right? Hey, if you cannot take an athletic guy, and again, the fact that that guy is played in a pro-style offense, I can very well see how Kyle will say that, hey, I can get him to where I want him to be.
Yeah, he fits what I want to do. Sai, thank you very much for laying out the case for Trey.
Yeah, thanks.
Great to see you. Missed you last week. Take care. Hey, man, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Recovered after the hike.
Nice. Great to see you yesterday, man. So what's on your mind?
Okay, today I'm going to throw a challenge at you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask like 3 questions. So
okay.
We can compare your answer versus mine.
Okay.
So here goes the first question.
Okay.
So imagine if Jimmy played all the 16 games last season, 2020, with a record of 10-6, and probably getting knocked out eventually in divisional round. So if that happens, question is, would Kyle still draft a quarterback, not ideally at 3, whatever the position in the first round? Would Kyle still go for a quarterback, even Jimmy played all the games?
I don't know. Not necessarily. What do you think?
I think yes.
You think you would in round 1?
Yes. Tipping point is when Sean McVay go for that
for Stafford
trade. After that, Kyle will realize, I need to upgrade too. So here goes the second question.
Okay.
Right now, everyone has their preferred quarterback that they want to be in the 49 offense, right? But the question is whether Kyle is going to draft that guy or not. I mean, there is a high chance that you like certain quarterback, let's say Kyle Trask, but Kyle draft a different guy. So how can you make sure that Kyle draft the quarterback that you like?
How can I make sure that Kyle drafts the quarterback I like? Man, that's impossible. I guess to say that, I don't know. That's impossible. How do I do it? Tell me.
Okay, here's my answer. Let's say it's Kyle Trask. So I would convince Kyle Trask to change his name to Kirk Cousins 2.
Yes, Kirk Cousins Jr.
Cousins. Or
Kirk Cousins Jr.
Something like that.
Kirk Trask.
Kirk
Trask. I like that, yeah. As long as you have a good, strong name like Kirk, Kyle's going to like you. Or CJ.
Yeah.
CJ Trask. I like that. Right. Also, I was thinking Mac Jones. It seems like Kyle only likes quarterbacks named Mac or Matt, because he had Matt Ryan, Matt Schaub,
exactly.
and Mac Jones. So you got to have an MA name. Okay, what's the last one?
Yes. So last question is now, given this situation now, many players now coming out. First, George Kittle, in his usual sneaky way, he said, I like Jimmy, but it's up to the organization. But DJ Jones, he was very straight. He said, Jimmy is my guy. I want him. He took us to the Super Bowl. Yesterday, Raheem Mostert talked about Jimmy being his quarterback, everything. So first, it's a 2-part question. First thing is, do you think the way Kyle treating Jimmy is fair? And the second part is, can this create a division in the locker room?
I think it's fair the way Jimmy's been treated. I think the Niners have given him a lot of money and stuck by him, and I think it's fair. I think it's fair for the Niners to say, look, dude, we now no longer are confident that you can stay healthy. We got to move on. We've got to go for a cheaper option. The only way it divides the locker room is if he becomes the backup and certain players feel that's not justified. I still think it's okay to bring him to training camp and to bring the rookie to training camp and to let someone win the job. But I think if Jimmy loses the job best to trade him at that point, get rid of him, and bring in someone else to be a veteran backup. Because, as you said, I think that could split the locker room because he took this team to the Super Bowl, and then he may have some very loyal supporters on it still. Would you agree?
So here's my answer.
Okay.
So I think it's unfair. Here's why.
Okay.
So you don't draft a quarterback worth of 3 first-round picks just to compete with Jimmy or just to make Jimmy mad, make him work more hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do so, if Jimmy still can beat this rookie quarterback for the starting job, then Kyle and John should get fired immediately.
Right.
So the thing is this. I understand that Jimmy did not live up to the expectation. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not the way to treat him at this moment. Because last year, when Packers drafted Jordan Love, they were super straight about it. They said, we need a quarterback for the future. And the best example is when Andy Reid drafted Mahomes. He said, yes, we have Alex Smith, but I thought this is a guy that we could not pass.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we made it. And that created the opportunity to Alex Smith to talk about it too. He said, okay, I didn't like the decision, but fine. I understand.
Yes.
Why Andy Reid did it, right? So basically, Andy Reid, off the field, he is super straight. He's showing his class that he made that situation, even though it is uncomfortable, that everybody understood. But Kyle here just dragging Jimmy through the dirt, right? So I think that will eventually make that locker room split. That they don't like Jimmy being treated like this. I mean, why? Okay, you have the quarterback, right? So you start him eventually, but at least say, okay, this is our plan, future plan. We are going to trade Jimmy away. We all know that. But why are you trying to put Jimmy through all this trouble? Why are you publicly shaming him?
It's a good point. Well, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and eventually, okay. One last question. So, do you think Kyle Shanahan? What is the ranking in the NFC West for Kyle Shanahan among the coaches?
I'll put him third.
Yes, I'll agree. I'll put him third, and we should be thankful for.
Yeah, big Cliff. The guy has no idea what he's doing. Yeah, Kyle's third. He needs to win more.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot.
Good questions. I appreciate it.
Okay.
You made me cough at the end. I'll see it. Ooh, Arya. Is you there? You're on the Cohn phone. What's popping? All right, you out, man. I tried. He'll never know that he was on the show. Amin, what's popping, man?
Yo, what up?
What's going on, man?
I even agree Kyle Shanahan's third because he just can't. He just doesn't win games. 2 seasons, he hasn't won that many games.
Nah, real quick. Mike says, remember, for 3 weeks prior to the trade out, we didn't know about the Niners looking to trade out. Now everyone knows we're going to take Mac Jones. Good point. Maybe people don't know as much as they say they know. I think maybe it's just still a mystery. Anyway, I mean, how'd that show go with Ben last night?
Oh, we did it. Yeah.
Did it?
We got 50 views, I think.
Yeah. Send me that. I want to see it.
Okay.
All right. Talk to me. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is that people say, why would we draft Mac Jones? Like, there's better I personally would draft Trey Lance because if Zach Wilson's gone, I also want Trey Lance. Only because a mobile quarterback is better, especially in Kyle Shanahan's system, because I also think Kyle Shanahan's not going to draft Mac Jones because he's already lost 2 Super Bowls with unathletic quarterbacks.
That's a good point.
Like, especially since, like Mike McGlinchey's not that good. So Jimmy Garoppolo gets sacked over and over and over again in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And we had no answer to that. Even though...
So why is Mac Jones going to do better behind that offensive line?
I'm not saying Mac Jones is going to do better, right? But if we fix that right tackle spot, like, personally, I want Trey Lance, but Mac Jones is a smart pick because if all you have to do in Kyle Shanahan's system is that you have to execute. That's basically it. You don't really have to do anything insane. Trey Lance would be better in the offense because then you have a mobile quarterback who can run and juke people out. And, like, the thing about Trey Lance is that he needs more experience, in my opinion. But if Kyle Shanahan drafts Mac Jones, if he does draft Mac Jones, then if Mac Jones comes and knows how to execute, I don't think that's a bad thing because all you need is someone who can execute in that offense and system. Jimmy Garoppolo has proved if we pay him $150 million, he's proved that he can execute in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
True.
Who's one of the best offensive coordinators in probably football, one of the best, or even the best. Like Sean McVay might be second, but if you can't execute in that type of offense, I don't know where you can execute because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't even good enough to take us to the Super Bowl. Our run game and our defense took us to the Super Bowl. Every game, Jimmy Garoppolo will give us a touchdown of help, and that's it. And then he'll throw like 2 or 3 picks, and he'll screw us up. Run game and defense save Jimmy Garoppolo, and they might have even saved Kyle Shanahan's job because if Jimmy Garoppolo, if we didn't win games the last 3 years or even make it to the playoffs at least once, I don't think Kyle Shanahan would still be the head coach even today because Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play good. Luckily, because of our run game and our defense, we won games. So I don't think you need the most insane or most talented quarterback. I just think you need a guy who can execute in that offense. You don't need a Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I like Trey Lance. I would draft Trey Lance because a running quarterback would be deadly in Kyle Shanahan's offense. But you also got to take this into consideration that a running quarterback, if a running quarterback can't throw, then you kind of stuck because Colin Kaepernick, he could run and he was killing it. When you want him to throw the ball, same thing with Lamar Jackson. When you want him to throw the ball and he can't throw the ball that well and you stop his run, he's useless.
Yeah.
Cardinals got lucky with Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray could actually like run and throw.
Right.
So Lamar Jackson can't run and throw. Colin Kaepernick got stuck. Colin Kaepernick can't run and throw. He can run, but he can't throw. So when you stop that run part of the aspect of it, you can't really. If you can't throw, then he's kind of useless. So I personally think Mac Jones is a smarter pick.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Mac Jones, when Kyle watches that Mac Jones film, he's like, well, that's my offense, basically. I mean, he's executing it better than Jimmy is right there. I can see it. Trey Lance, maybe he has a higher upside, but it's a projection. You know, it's less that you can see. And I think from Shanahan's perspective, it's nice to have a quarterback who can break a tackle in the backfield, but if he can't be a proficient quarterback from the pocket and not just have a strong arm, but like read a defense and throw with anticipation, then they're always going to be limited in terms of what they do. Like, what are you bringing the mobile quarterback in to do? Are you bringing him in to enhance your running game? Like, they don't need that. They need a guy who can kind of avoid some pressure, right? So that's it. I mean, you don't need a guy to be running 10 times a game. You don't need Lamar Jackson. You just need a guy who can avoid some pressure.
Lamar Jackson was crazy that like almost like 2 years ago. He was MVP that season. All they really did was either they would hand off the ball to Mark Ingram or they would hand off the ball to Lamar Jackson, which was a killer combo, right? Because you don't know what they were doing. So like that's a killer combo, right? But the Niners run game is already good enough that we don't need a run game because we have Raheem Mostert and we have We have We have Raheem Mostert and good running backs, and Kyle Shanahan knows how to make a run game. We don't need a mobile quarterback. It might have been
that's what I'm saying.
Better,
yeah,
but it's just that Mac Jones is a smarter pick than what you guys be. If other Niners fans are like Justin Fields, or Justin Fields is so good, let's have Justin Fields. Just because he's more athletic doesn't mean he's going to be a better quarterback than Mac Jones.
True. That's a good point. Because again, playing quarterback is not an athletic position. Athleticism can help, but the best quarterback in the league is still a 43-year-old dude who can't run. He just won the Super Bowl. It's not really an athletic position. It's your arm and it's your footwork, but it's very much your brain. And all the athleticism after that is a bonus, but it doesn't substitute.
And I'm not even saying that we should draft Mac Jones or Mac Jones is going to be Tom Brady. I'm just saying is that Mac Jones is a smarter pick in Kyle Shanahan's offense if he knows how to execute over Trey Lance and Justin Fields, honestly.
Yeah. It's just that's the right pick, I think, in terms of quarterbacks. Trey Lance is interesting. There's a huge risk there.
Trey Lance is
huge risk there.
But the Niners are not going to keep him for 3 years to develop. No way. The Niners are not going to keep him for 3 years.
I think Lance needs to go to a team that's not in win now mode, where there's some patience for him, because that's multi-year. I mean, look at Josh Allen. It took him 3 years. He went to a team that was rebuilding. It all worked. I don't know. Trey Lance coming here, if he plays next year and it isn't ready, Niner fans will just be livid. So
next year he has to be ready.
He has to be ready. I'm with you, Amin.
And then also,
hey, send me that. What? Tell me.
Okay. The last guy said that if the locker room has the locker room's not happy if Jimmy Garoppolo, because they said Jimmy's our guy. I get that they might be not happy, but if the quarterback comes in and he starts winning games and he takes you deep in the playoffs, I don't think I don't think the players are gonna be unhappy that Jimmy Garoppolo is not our guy. Because if you win games and you win Super Bowls with Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not saying that you're gonna win Super Bowl year one, but if you make the playoffs and you win games, unlike Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't do 2 years, who couldn't win games because he was injured, he wouldn't play. So like if you
Right.
could win games and make the playoffs, and considering that now Tom Brady's in that division, so Jimmy Garoppolo, he has to go up against Tom Brady. I don't think
Mhm.
Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna beat Tom Brady unless our defense kills Tom Brady. But it's not. I don't think the Bucs
Not gonna happen.
offensive line and weapons
Yeah.
are so good. So
Yeah.
if you like, the one thing that the Rams were smarter to do is that the Rams got Matthew Stafford because that's the guy that's proven in the NFL who can play well, and that's a win now roster. But they've lost a bunch of cornerbacks, but that's a win now roster. The Niners decided they were desperate also, so they saw Sean McVay and they said, now we also have to go and get an upgrade. But I don't know if a rookie quarterback is going to be right away a straight upgrade. And if you have to keep Jimmy Garoppolo next year and he doesn't play, you're gonna start the rookie, and the rookie, I don't know if he's gonna be ready. Mac Jones might be, but I don't know if Trey Lance or Justin Fields are gonna be ready next year right away if Jimmy Garoppolo is gone or if they trade him or if he's not playing.
I'm with you, man. I mean, I gotta take some more calls, but
Okay.
dude, email me that clip from last night so I can see it.
Okay,
All right, man. Great to see you, man.
bye.
Late. Max, what's up? How you doing, man?
So there's just a PFF.
You're really quiet. Can you turn it up a little bit or talk louder?
Hold on, is that better?
Boom. There we go. Now I'm talking. There we go. Nice.
My microphone keeps
Good.
doing that. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So what's on your mind?
So PFF just released a grade on each quarterback prospects grade on past the first read,
Mhm.
I believe, and Justin Fields is number one, and I think Justin Fields, maybe I think you've touched on this earlier, but is he like the Justin Herbert of this draft? Do you think he's being looked over?
Good question, right? Because he seems to be the one getting the most criticism.
Right.
Right. And he seems to be the one that's going to drop. And it seems to be like I asked at the beginning of the show, why is he the one that the Niners aren't interested in? There's rumors that they like Mack. There's rumors that they like Trey Lance, but not Justin Fields. And then anytime there's a narrative about Justin Fields, there's someone who comes out to debunk it. He's a one-read quarterback. Well, Pro Football Focus says that's not true. Or anything you want to say about him, people say that's not true. Is he the one that's getting overlooked? I think there's a lot of differences between Justin Fields and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was like a 4-year starter at Oregon. Oregon wasn't a great school. It's up there in the Pacific Northwest. Most of the country isn't watching those games. And I feel like a team like Miami looked at him and was like, how do we sell Justin Herbert to our fan base? Our fan base has never heard of Justin Herbert, where Tua is a celebrity all across the world,
Right.
especially in the South. I mean, that almost felt like an ownership pick to me. So Justin Fields is a celebrity. He went to Ohio State. He's been on television any number of times playing football. I think their circumstances are a little different. I think what people see with Fields is that he's being discriminated against, and that all the criticism against him is racist, which is possible. But I wonder, like, well, why isn't Trey Lance catching that kind of stuff? Why is it just Justin Fields? And I don't have the answer. Maybe you do.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I mean, also on this PFF thing, what's interesting is Trevor Lawrence is 7th on the list with like
That
a
is very
12
interesting.
point lower
Yeah.
grade than Justin Fields. So
I want to point out one thing real quick. Sorry to interrupt you, but as far as Pro Football Focus, you brought up Justin Herbert. They were one of the main people saying Justin Herbert was no good. Like all of their analysts, all of their grades said he was trash. And when the Chargers took him, their top guy, PFF Sam, said this is a huge mistake. Huge mistake. So keep that in mind. PFF isn't exactly, they don't have a terrific track record of scouting quarterbacks.
right. Also, I have another question. So
Mhm.
I wonder if, Mike LaFleur, he went to the Jets, and I believe Mike McDaniel is now the OC. So
Mhm.
do you think that there's any way where Mike McDaniel could possibly influence the decision, and how you think that'll affect the development of the quarterback with him being the OC?
I don't think Mike McDaniel has that kind of juice and sway inside the organization. I think he's been a run game specialist his whole life. He's the guy who draws up the plays in the run game, and he's the best in the league at that probably. You see how those plays are. They're very intricate. I don't know if he necessarily has the juice to be like, yo, we need this quarterback. And Kyle be like, you think so, huh? All right, well, I'm going to go with what you think. I'm not trying to be – I'm just saying I think this is – Kyle's a little – he's a little emperor on the 49ers. Him and his dad was the emperor of the Broncos. Kyle is the emperor of the 49ers.
Yeah.
And it's Kyle's call. It's Kyle's call.
Yeah, I do wonder how that like Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan relationship is too. Like maybe, maybe Mike McDaniel was talking like maybe Mike McDaniel's all in with Shanahan. That's why they made the trade up, or maybe they're unhappy that there could be something going on. So that would be really interesting. And maybe if they take the quarterback he doesn't want, that obviously that would affect the decision. And people have been saying John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have disagreed on the quarterback. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but
yeah, we'll never know. Before I let you go, Keith says the difference between Lance and Fields is that before the draft process, nobody knew Lance. Fields has been in the spotlight since high school. Yeah, I think one of the things that Lance has going for him is that he didn't play this year. There's very little to hold against him. Like, what do you Fields played against Northwestern Indiana and really struggled. This dude didn't have those games. He played against Central Arkansas and struggled, but there's less to like point at and be like, well, this is really bad. This is a problem here. There's just no tape for Trey Lance.
Right. I think like a lot of the issues you see with Fields, like people saying he can't go off his first read, whatnot. Like if Trey Lance is playing on Alabama or on Ohio State and playing against Alabama,
you'd see it too.
It
would be a very similar situation. Yeah. Max, thanks for coming on the show, man. Appreciate it. First time I've seen you. Have a good one. See you, Max. Chewie, it's been a while. What's up, Chewie?
Hey, what's up, Grant? Yeah, haven't been on in a little bit, man.
Looking good, man. What's popping?
Not much, man. Talking quarterbacks here. I'm looking at the move that we made, going up to number 3. All that we gave up, everybody knows what we gave up to get there. When I think about it, the way I evaluate quarterbacks, I look at 2 things. I look at how good of processors of information they are, how can they actually play football, and then I look at the physical talent that they have. So
that's the way to do it, because the physical talent is secondary. It's secondary.
Well, I think there are 2 traits to look at that really determine, how successful somebody's going to be.
And they're
in
separate.
The league.
Yeah.
I've never seen a quarterback come out that's not either elite in one of the 2 areas or very good in both areas. So when I'm looking at, the pick that we're going to make, you look at the 4 that we're talking about. We're talking about Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Fields, and McCorkle.
The hero we didn't know we needed.
Right. So when we look at them, there's 3 quarterbacks that are elite when it comes to like athleticism out of those 4. There's one that's not, who we all know who that is. And then when we look at the other side of how good processors of information they are, is Mac Jones elite in that area, or is he just good in that area? So when I look at that,
it's hard to say, man. He had all these first-round picks at wide receiver. It's hard to say.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to say is I think he's good in that area, but I wouldn't put him elite in that area. So when I look at all those traits, that's what makes me determine, like, there's no way that we could justify giving up all that stuff to go up and get Mac Jones, who's not elite in any area. He is good as a decision maker, processor, but I mean, he's not even elite. I don't even think he's the best in this draft for that. So that's
people that like Mac Jones would say that he's elite. His accuracies, I mean, he completed 77% of his throws. Now, a lot of the throws were short, but still, dude, he completed 77%.
Everybody's open too, though. Everybody's open when you have the best players on the field.
It's true. Look, I wouldn't draft Mac Jones at number 3. I like Kyle Pitts, but everyone thinks I'm crazy, so you got to take a quarterback. Okay, man. Well, good luck telling me which one of these quarterbacks won't be a bust, because you got me, man. I don't know. I have no idea.
So
they're all scary.
All the rumors and everything, that's what I look at, and I tell 49er fans, like, calm down. It's okay. They're not going to do it. Trust me. They're not going to do it and take Mac Jones. He just does not have what it takes in any of the 2 main areas when you look at successful quarterbacks. He just doesn't have it. So, I mean, that's my opinion on it. I don't know how much validity you put into that or what you think of that, but there's no way.
Look, hey, what's up? How you doing?
Love you.
Good to see you. Hey, appreciate you. Hey, I know. I just feel like they can't sell Mac Jones. Like 49er fans will be pissed. They'll be pissed, and they like Kyle, but like everyone has their limits, right? And they're like, man, if we had just taken Mac Jones at 3, maybe, but trading up for him, I don't think anyone can get behind that. Anyone trading up. 3
so I tell all the viewers watching, like, go and look at the tape with those 2 things in mind. And you'll see there's no way we're taking Mac Jones. We did not make this trade and to take Mac Jones. and we don't leak this kind of information. So that's all a
Understood.
smokescreen, you know. One quick last thing, if you don't mind.
Go for it, bro. Go for it, bro.
So off the quarterback subject, I saw these Facebook videos coming out of McFloppy working out with George Kittle's trainer. Have you seen those?
No. Tell me.
So he's like off-season training with George Kittle's trainer. What do you think of that? I just want to know. Like, do you think he can, put in some work?
That sounds like the team was like, hey, man, whatever you did last year to prepare for the season was awful. So now you have to – George Kittle's your babysitter. Whatever George Kittle does, you do, because George Kittle knows how to prepare for a season on his own. Either George Kittle or Fred Warner. Those are the two guys who are the self-starters on the team, man. Mike,
cool,
do what they do.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. Keep up the good work. I love all the content. Tell your dad I said.
Hey, don't you get the feeling that George Kittle is stronger than Mike McGlinchey?
Oh, he even looks bigger.
No
than Mike
doubt.
McGlinchey.
Yo,
so y'all give me a follow, guys. Follow this right here.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy,
all right, man.
Grant.
Good to see you, man. Take care. Later. Oh, what it do, Chardoll? What's up? Man, are you muted, bro? Come on, man. You're a vet on this show, man. You know how to do it. Oh, we got a little bit of an echo, so here's what's going to happen. You just talk, and then I'll mute you and answer. Go ahead.
Okay, so my first question for you is, if Jimmy Garoppolo potentially leaves the 49ers, will Mac Jones be a good replacement for him?
I think that you could argue that Mac Jones is the cleanest replacement for Jimmy Garoppolo because they're the same athlete. Maybe Mac Jones is a little bit quicker. Alabama's offense was very much like the Niners offense. When you watch Mac Jones play, you're like, yeah, he could definitely fit what the Niners are doing right now. Any other wide receiver, other quarterback, I think Kyle would have to change things a little bit. And you know how he feels about change. All right, next question.
And my second question is, how do you feel about six-time Pro Bowler Alex Mack getting signed with the Niners?
I didn't realize he was a six-time Pro Bowler. He was so good when he was younger. He went to Cal. He played at Atlanta and Cleveland. Heck of a player. He's going to be 36 this year. He's actually only a year younger than Joe Staley. His age right now is the age that Joe Staley retired. So I'm curious to see what he's got left. That's my only question. Chardoll, thank you for coming on.
And what do you think he's going to bring to the team, Alex?
Leadership. Not as much athleticism as he used to have, but leadership, because Trent Williams doesn't bring that. And Joe Staley was the one that had it. Thanks for coming on.
Really nice to be on. I'll see you next time.
See you next time. Chardoll. Gotta love him. Hello again. What's up, Jose?
What's going on, Grant? How's your day going?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just had some breakfast and whatnot, or lunch technically.
Nice.
I just wanted to say, first of all, the one thing I will disagree with you on, man, is saying that Kyle Shanahan's the third best coach in the division. Because at the same time, yes, he has the 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4 losing seasons. So that is a valid argument. But he owns Sean McVay. You know what I'm saying? You can't disregard that he owns McVay in this division. The only time,
but I wouldn't just rank coaches based on what they do head to head. I mean, Kyle could move past McVay, but you can't deny that McVay's resume is just a little bit better than Kyle's at this point.
True. No,
it's fluid. It's fluid.
But when he did have a starting quarterback, we went to the Super Bowl. So
no doubt.
I think that
he could move up. I mean, Pete Carroll could be out in a year. It could be Kyle #1 next year. I feel like people need to prove it in life. Kyle has been skating by on potential his whole life. We all see the potential, but dude, come on, produce consistently.
Yeah, and that part I do 100% agree with, because you can't be the type of coach that's 100% dependent on a quarterback being there. That is one thing I will, agree with you on. But I just think I'm
not trying to knock him though. He's a really good coach.
You're a guy that likes to see it. You know what I mean?
I like Pete Carroll too. I think Pete Carroll's really good. People are like, oh, the game has passed him by. Watch him win 11 games every year. Somehow.
Oh yeah, Pete Carroll, you can never sleep on. I'm a fan of him back when he was at USC because I'm a USC guy. So I
be friends with him
because he has a system, and he's just going to keep running it until the day he retires.
That's true.
And then
just like Kyle. All right, what's up?
And then also too, what do you think about a possibility? I know it's probably not going to happen now because of all the stuff going on around him, but using this number 3 pick to try to find a way to make a move for Deshaun. Because
You got any
originally
new
that first
information,
pick,
on that? I don't. All I heard was there's now been a criminal charge.
yeah.
You heard that? So I don't know, man.
No, but would you think there's like a type of offer that could work on the table to make a move like that?
Dude, there would have to be some clarity on that before the draft to make a move like that. No, he's toxic right now. Not that he's guilty. He's just toxic. You know, people don't know. And if you make the move now, the PR message it sends is we don't care whether we don't care. We don't know, we don't care. We don't know, we don't care. He's great. So that can't happen. That's why I feel like the Niners made this trade, because they wanted Watson. They felt that they missed out on Stafford, and they were like, all right, well, cool. You get Stafford, we get Watson. How about that? And it's like, oh, damn, we should have got Stafford. We should have got Stafford. Maybe Wentz. Maybe we should have got Wentz. I don't know. But now they're in this place where, like, what are your options when Watson falls apart? What were their options? Nothing. Alex Smith, Jimmy, nothing. So I'm not certain that everyone's like, oh, no, man, Kyle loves Trey or Kyle loves Mack. What if they don't love any of these dudes, and this is a move they made out of desperation because Watson fell apart, and they're like, all right, man, well, I guess we got to start watching these quarterbacks. You know, look at their pro days.
That's a hell of a story.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that would be a hell of a story.
Fans always assume that these teams have plans. Well, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I do agree with you in the sense that this trade did happen only because the Watson thing might have fell through, because it's just the timing of it is what I find interesting. Yep. Like, because everyone was assuming that the Panthers would make a trade, or, you know what I mean, one of these, Denver, you know what I mean, like one of these other quarterback needy teams. No one was talking about. You
never know what New England's trying to do. They've been very aggressive this offseason. Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, I just think that's interesting. And then also, too, is in the later rounds, obviously, number one is everyone talking about which quarterback, but what do you think is going to happen in the later rounds? Because I feel like you have to address offensive line and receivers still, and corners as well later on in the draft.
Don't they have like 7 picks on day 3? 7 picks?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? They have to replenish their entire depth. So they need a running back. They need a slot receiver. They need a backup at every spot in the defensive backfield, or at least backup corners. They need, as you said, another tackle, another center, another guard. I mean, they need they need depth. They have no depth.
Yeah, that's the great word to use, is they definitely need depth. I mean, in my opinion, if it wasn't going to be number 3 overall, you would have had to taken a Caleb Farley or Surtain in that with that first round pick, because
at 12, yeah,
because Veretta's on a 1-year deal, and it's very just team friendly, and I was actually happy that it was only a 1-year deal, because I thought the Niners were going to shell out a 3-year deal for Verrett.
The Jimmy Ward deal. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah.
So I'm happy it actually worked out that way. But then now you have to find his future replacement in this year's draft, because it is only a 1-year deal.
But they're going to kick the can. Just like they did last year. They're going to wait to draft the future replacement next year. I guarantee that. This is not an organization that commits to developing corners, although they should. It's an important position.
Like the league has changed. Like, you have to develop it at that position. You have to.
It's just as important as receivers, man.
The one thing, as me being a big Brian Flores fan, even though he's in Miami, like the one thing he did in England that he brought with him to Miami is developing DBs and corners, and now that's why you see Bill doing it, because he you know what I mean, he kind of bit it off of that a little bit. And
if you have 2 shutdown corners or 2 like Pro Bowl level corners, that just makes you can do so much. You can blitz both safeties. You can manufacture pressure in so many different ways. A lot of people are like, you got to have that 4-man pass rush, but there's so much more creativity that you can do if you have those 2 corners. And the Niners had one of them last year. If you have a second one to go along with Verrett, now you can have a defense like Miami had.
But I also think it's because of the system too, because this 4-3 cover 3 system, it kind of does rely more on a pass rush, because back when Seattle was dominant, yes, they had Sherman and Thomas and Cam Chancellor, but people forget about how good that D-line was too, especially the year they won the Super Bowl. Like, you had Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett, Red Bryant, Mebane. You had a lot of bodies.
Being that vanilla in coverage only works if you have this amazing pass rush. The greatest pass rush of all time that's like 7 or 8 deep. Never gets tired.
One move I think I would really like the Niners to make in this draft, speaking of corners or at least another pass rusher and whatnot, is to trade back in at the late first round. You know what I mean? It's kind of like last year what they did with the IU type of move. I mean, because it's going to be hard, especially once like a Caleb Farley, for example, because I expect him to go to Chicago, especially since he had that new medical come out with his back. I don't know if you heard about that, but now that's like his third major surgery in his 4 years at college. So I think he's going to drop a little bit. So if you can trade back in the first round and get whether it's Caleb Farley or just one of these other corners or even a pass rusher to pair with Nick Bosa, because what is Nick Bosa's health really going to be? I mean, we all expect it to be at a starter level, but he could be on a pitch count, you know?
Yeah.
And then
it's true.
at the
I
same
would
time,
expect that.
you got to find a replacement for D Ford's production. I mean, the Ebukon is supposed to be that guy, supposedly, and I like Ebukon, but I just feel like you always need more because that's where the league is right now. It's pass rushers and it's secondary on defense, and then it's quarterback and O-line on offense. That's just
real quick before I let you go. I'm with you on that, but I'm pretty sure what Kyle's going to do is what he always does in the second round: draft a wide receiver. Yeah, are you kidding? And if you think about it, they could justify it because Kendrick Bourne played a ton for them every year, even as a number 3 dude. Yeah, so like that number 3 wide receiver is going to play more snaps than Kyle Juszczyk. And they've never really been that confident in Richie James. So who's it going to be?
Right. But
Jalen Hurd?
I was about to say Jalen Hurd. I mean, if he even plays, I think it's a possibility to be that big slot. But and then I mean Richie James though, I don't think he's bad.
I like Richie James. I wish Kyle liked him as much as we did. I don't get it.
Exactly, because he had 160 yards against the Packers.
He's a way better receiver than he is a returner, and yet he's a returner on the team and not a receiver. I don't get it, Jose. I mean,
me neither.
I don't get it. Yeah, man. I got to take some more calls though, man.
Okay. All right, man.
Appreciate you though. Good to see you, dude. Sorry, I'm coming up against 11 o'clock, and I'm trying to get as many calls in as possible. Arya, I had you earlier, but you weren't looking at me. What's up, Arya? How you doing?
Yeah, my bad. I was studying in the side.
I can see it. What's up? What's going on, man? All good.
Yeah.
What's up?
Okay, so before we talk about who the 49ers might possibly take at 3, we need to look at who goes before the 49ers pick, and number 1 and number 2. So the way I see it, number 1, there's a 98% chance that it's Trevor Lawrence, and then in all the scenarios that it's not Trevor Lawrence, it has to be Zach Wilson. So
it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Let's just say it's Trevor Lawrence. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But if it's Zach Wilson, then the Jets are taking Trevor Lawrence, no doubt. So Trevor Lawrence is not going to the Niners.
Right.
So now let's talk about if, and which is the more likely possibility, that Trevor Lawrence goes to Jacksonville. That means the Jets have a decision to make at 2. So the only players we're taking at number 2 are 3. There's 3 choices. Number 1 is Zach Wilson, and the second and third players on this list are the top 2 players on my draft board: offensive tackle Penei Sewell and tight end Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
And in my opinion, both of those are unbustable. Both of those are 10-year starters.
Agreed.
Both of those will be elite players in the NFL.
Concur.
And so let's talk about who the Jets might take out of those 3. So in my opinion, it's not going to be Penei Sewell because number 1, they drafted Mekhi Becton in the first round last year.
That's right.
And if they take Penei Sewell and move him to right tackle, you can't take a right tackle with the 2nd overall pick.
No, you
not
can't.
Possible.
I'm with you.
But if you take Penei Sewell and move him to left tackle, what are you going to do with Mekhi Becton? He had an outstanding rookie season at left tackle.
Also, why are you spending top 5 picks on the same position back-to-back years? There's other positions on the team. I mean, I'm with you on that. I don't think Sewell's the pick for them.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, even though the offensive line is important, you don't want to stunt the development of one of those 2 players by changing their positions you're drafting them. Now, Kyle Pitts, this is a possible scenario for the Jets. But the reason I think it's unlikely is because they went out and they paid Corey Davis a 3-year, 37-ish. Was that it? 3-year, $37 million?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way I see it, Corey Davis and Kyle Pitts have similar playing styles. Even though Kyle Pitts is tight end, he's essentially a wide receiver. And Corey Davis doesn't get much separation. Kyle Pitts doesn't get much separation either. But both of them are mismatch targets. And that's the way I see it. And so
I think, let me just say that I think Kyle Pitts is about 100 times better than Corey Davis. But we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Agreed. Yeah. It's just that the play styles are similar. So, I mean, you already have your X in Corey Davis. So, Kyle Pitts would be your X. So, you can't have 2 X's.
Kyle Pitts can play tight end. Kyle Pitts can play in the slot. He can play flanker. I think you should go back and watch Kyle Pitts because I'm telling you, this dude is special and different than any tight end that's ever entered the league. He gets more separation than you're giving him credit for. The guy's an amazing route runner. He's so much better than Vernon Davis ever was. But look, maybe they won't take him. It seems like everyone's linking them to Zach Wilson. So, okay.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it's going to be Zach Wilson. So this angle that the 49ers are hoping that the Jets don't take Zach Wilson and they have some inside information, I think it's wrong because the Jets have really like no other option to take other than Zach Wilson because they need a quarterback and Zach Wilson's the number 2 guy and the only other quarterback who I have a first-round grade on. So,
Arya, really thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you. You laid it out perfectly, man. Now go get back to studying, dude. You got a test coming up. Come on.
Yeah, give me a second though. I just need to say that if you want to see my grades and my takes on these draft players, I actually write a blog that's called Bluff Ball Sports where I go and deep dive all these prospects.
Boom. Drop the link in the comment section so people can find it, all right?
Yeah, thank you so much.
For sure. Hey, how are you? You're in Europe.
Yeah, Grant. It's the first time I'm on, so I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for calling. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Brussels.
Oh, my goodness. My brother's last name is Strauss. He used to travel to Brussels for work all the time, and they called him Brussels Strauss. All right, keep going.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from Northern California. I went to Sierra College where
nice.
We saw Montana and Rice all the time.
I drove right by there last week when I was going up to Tahoe. Yep, absolutely.
I miss it very much.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for taking the call. I have to tell you, I'm a big follower of you and your dad.
Oh, thank you.
And keeps us sane after the NFL year ends until the training begins in the spring. But I have to say, I'm just like everybody else. I did not like Mac Jones at all. It's not exciting at all. I guess
not exciting. Not exciting.
Not at all.
No.
Now I'm sort of getting on board with the Shanahan plan, and I look at the stats and the QBR when under pressure and all that, and Mac appears to be the best. Well, we'll see. But I want to ask you what despite all the stats indicating that Mac, is statistically the best. What do you think is sort of the best intangible that the analytics can't find? That would be my first
Mac Jones
question. Yeah, or any of the So what is everybody missing?
That's a good question. When I try to watch the film and try to see things that you can't quantify, I like to look at the pocket. How much space is between the quarterback and the bodies around him? Because in the NFL, like the ends are behind, like right at the quarterback right away. The pocket collapses. There's a very small area for the quarterback to work with, and I feel like that's not quantified. Like how big is the pocket? And in college, you look at Mac Jones. He always does this little play fake to start. The running back next to him is the best player on the team, and defense is stop. It always buys Mac Jones an extra half a second. And by the time he gets rid of the ball quickly, and if you pause it when he's throwing the ball, there's usually 4 or 5 yards of space that he has to work with. And, when Jared Goff has 4 or 5 yards of space to work with, he's unstoppable. But the problem in the NFL is you don't. You just don't have that. Probably 60% of your dropbacks, you got to move. You got to throw with a guy with a hand in your face. You got to throw when taking a hit. And you just got to be good at that. Tom Brady was good at that. Peyton Manning was constantly shifting and moving. Mac Jones, what a coach said about him is he plays football in a rocking chair. It's just like the most casual thing you've ever seen. Well, there's no one around him. So that doesn't translate to the pros. And when he gets to the pros, the fact that all those bodies around him could be like, wow, this is a whole different sport all of a sudden. What is this? I'm not used to it.
Yeah. Well, I guess I haven't seen any stats that indicate, what is the efficiency for quarterbacks with pressure at 1 yard away instead of 5
pressure
yards
is such a subjective thing, though. Like Pro Football Focus tries to chart it and grade it, but what is pressure? It's subjective. You can't really qualify it. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like you got to watch it and judge it for yourself.
Last question
sure.
or comment. Fully agree with you. What you were discussing yesterday, the nuclear option, go with best player available, fits who will last, a generation.
Oh yeah,
and probably be a Hall of Famer. Then try and go get Trask or whoever in the second round. And Kyle is supposed to be a guru. He should be able to coach up any of the top 10 QBs. And if Jimmy's not the backup, bring one in. Mullins is going to coach him anyway.
That's right. It seems to me that if you put a quarterback on an offense with Pitts and Kittle and Debo and Ayuk and Mostert, how do you fail?
All-purpose players.
That you take a good quarterback and make him great, as opposed to hoping some 21-year-old kid is going to come in and elevate everything around him. I know it sounds crazy. I was trying to tell my dad, I was like, Dad, the move for them is to take a tight end. And he was like, are you serious? Are you kidding? Are you telling me that with a straight face? I'm like, Dad, you haven't seen this tight end. I'm telling you, they're going to regret it if they don't take him. He's like,
yeah, it doesn't have to be.
You're no son of mine. You're no son of mine. I'm trying to tell
him. Be
him.
Another offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't take up your time, but please try to speak into existence.
I'll try.
Don't draft or sign anyone with an injury history. Please.
Oh my God.
That would be nice.
Refrain from doing so. Thanks for calling all the way from Brussels. Hell of a call.
Take care.
Take care. Hold on, V8. Let me get Raymond because he's new, and then I'll come back to you. I'll get you next, man. What's up, Raymond?
What's up, Brent?
What's popping?
So, I wanted to get your opinion on something. So the fact that they were willing to go and look at Deshaun this year, and what we're hearing was it was a plan A. All right, we're hearing it was a plan
no
A.
No question.
Okay.
No question.
Does that change the narrative that Kyle has brought in his view of what's an acceptable quarterback in his system? Now, I know he's not a runner first. I get that. Deshaun is an excellent passer. And we can say that he skipped over Deshaun because he
did.
Hurt.
He did.
This is all about argument. We got the receipts. We know this.
He did. Yes.
Yeah. But at the same time, in the offseason, we also know that the greatest of all time was available and could have came here, right? So I read an article in The Athletic the other day, and the narrative was that Kyle actually wanted to talk to Brady and was trying to convince the brass here that they can actually get him. But the consensus was that the brass didn't want to move on from Jimmy. So that changes.
Are you serious? See, I don't have an Athletic subscription because I can't be spending $5 a month on anything.
Yeah, so that
money's tight these days.
That changes my opinion of. I think one thing you've always made clear is that for all the Niner fans out there that love Jimmy, I think Kyle's more of your mindset.
There's no question about it. There's no question.
Tired of it. I think
he's tired. Tired of it.
Yeah, it's the mental aspect that I think he's tired of, and the injuries. It's just the mental aspect and the injuries. So coming into this draft, I'm looking at these options at number 3. So we know they made this trade, and for us to think they made this trade thinking that they weren't going to be able to get somebody they want, I think is very naive. I think it's very naive. I think for them, they were always okay with the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Lawrence, Wilson,
Lance.
Okay. So if we're looking at, like you said, which guy can he see fit into his system right now, it's not going to be Fields. I like Fields, but it's not going to be Fields. It's going to be Lance.
Yes.
And it's because
it would be Wilson, but we're assuming that's off the table.
We're assuming he's gone.
And that's why the Jets are taking him, because it's the same offense.
Exactly. It was like I never understood when people kept saying, "Oh, they're going to pass on him," and Kyle would love Wilson. Well, they have the same offense. Why wouldn't
same offense?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. If Kyle likes him, then they like him. Yeah.
Exactly. So when I'm looking at Lance, I see the people are saying, well, he gave up a lot to get up there to get this guy, and it's going to require a bridge quarterback. But Jimmy's probably the worst bridge you can have, just from the perspective of he's going to get hurt mid-season.
Exactly.
He might get hurt in the second game. Who knows?
Yeah, he's like a bridge that's destined to collapse. Yep.
Exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if the move is Lance on day 1, then Jimmy is traded right after that.
And they just bring in Alex Smith or some other person who's an actual bridge quarterback. Joe, whoever. Yeah, whoever.
Yeah. But so if it is Lance this year coming in, I'm with you on the thing where it's like, man, I worry about the bustability though, man. I mean,
I do too.
we've seen. You had a guest on the other day. I think it was the High Test Sports, where you were talking about how many quarterbacks have actually succeeded in the first, and it's scary, man. It's scary. So
that's the way I look at it. Like when you talk to fans about these players, like you talk about Justin Fields and you bring up your criticism, and people be like, "Why do you just assume that he could be a bust? Like, why are you being negative? Like, look at the track record. It's not about him. It's about the fact that about 2/3 of the quarterbacks taken in round one, they don't necessarily bust, but they don't live up to expectations, and that's a bust.
Yeah,
that's a bust. So you should be looking at basically the way I look at this draft is you got one quarterback you know is going to be really good, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. There might be one more quarterback who's going to be really good. I don't know who it is, but basically most of these other guys are going to not live up to expectations, and the fact that most people think they will is fantasy.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't have a problem with Mac Jones in terms of his quarterback ability. I think he does fit what Kyle wants. It's just to give up all the capital. I just can't see going after somebody like that when you could have had in the second round possibly a Kyle Trask, a Kellen Mond. There are a lot of pocket passers available in the second round.
That's what I'm saying.
Third round.
Mac Jones is not that much better than Kyle Trask. He's not that much better than Jimmy Garoppolo or Josh Rosen, if he even is better.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because everybody's like, well, Mac has the intangibles of throwing with anticipation. It's like, dude, Mond and Trask can throw with anticipation too. That's their game.
Thank you.
That's their game. They don't have
Rosen can do that.
Yeah, these guys
freaking Rosen can do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm looking at the guys who are possible to take in that first three, and I just kind of feel like here's another thing about what I read in The Athletic. So I thought that Kyle, there was a split in the organization right now on who they want to take. And the writer actually said that Kyle is not on the Mac Jones train. Kyle's actually, it's starting to make me think that there's definitely something going on with Jed York and John Lynch. There's something going on there. They hang out a lot. If you've ever been in a business environment, when somebody hangs out with the owner a lot more, they start to get a lot more pull. Yeah. They start to get a lot more say-so.
Yep.
So there's definitely something going on right now. It's a little fishy. I'm kind of starting to believe that Kyle's ready to break out of the mold a little bit in terms of, and the thing is, I think it's unfair that we always say he has this, I guess, because of who he's had play for him. But the thing is like his dad himself. I mean, when you even go back to like the Jay Cutler, when they drafted Jay Cutler, they drafted Jay Cutler because of the upside. He was more physically gifted than a lot of the other guys when they took him at 10. So I'm looking at this draft. I'm like, man, I know his dad might have input. I know other people might have input, but I feel like Kyle is saying, I'm going to ride or die with whoever this is. And he doesn't want to leave it up to his dad. He doesn't want to leave it up to Jed. I don't think he wants to leave it up to anybody. I think he just wants to be his guy. And he wants those results to be finally where either he's going to be vindicated or he's going to be out.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what he decides. Yeah. So Raymond, thanks for coming on the show, man. For sure. Great call. For sure. Yeah, hold on. One more. King Giovanni's new, and then I'm going to get you. I promise. What's up, King?
Hey, what up, Grant?
What's popping, man?
Oh, man. You know me getting ready for another beach day song. Going to Hermosa today. But
where you live? You seem like you got a real nice house.
Oh, man. I'm out here in Baldwin Hills.
Hey, man, how come you didn't invite me over, man? I'm trying to kick it.
Man,
flexing with the swimming pool in the background. That's nice. All right, what's up?
Man, what I was gonna say was, for me personally, right now, I feel like, okay, like if you're gonna go quarterback, then I'll go either Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Personally, that's just my personal. Sure. But I probably wouldn't go quarterback if it was me drafting. I would go Kyle Pitts. You know.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would go Kyle Pitts because I feel like Kittle, Pitts, Ayuk, Debo, and Mostert, even with Jimmy, you can't go wrong. You know,
any quarterback. People don't understand about Pitts. People I don't think people can look like if he were on the Niners, he'd be their best player. Like Kittle's cool. I like Kittle, but Pitts would be the best. But okay.
Receiver, I think he would be better at a receiver. I think he can do what Jalen Hurts was supposed to do for us. Even he can
do anything. He can do anything. As a blocker, he's not like Kittle, but
no, definitely not.
You don't want him blocking. Why would you want him blocking? That's ridiculous.
No, not with those hands and that speed. Just get out. Just go.
Yeah, catch 150 passes a year, man. And the thing about him, he's gonna score like 15 touchdowns a year. You want a red zone offense? How about Kyle Pitts?
Exactly. That's
if you think Kyle Trask is bad, look what Kyle Pitts did for him, man.
Exactly.
Yes.
I feel like when I watch Kyle Trask highlights, I feel like I'm watching a Kyle Pitts.
No, every time he throws the ball up, and you're like, man, there's not a lot of juice on that pass. All of a sudden, this 6'6" dude with like 5-foot arms just goes up and catches. Like, yeah, man, he's a vacuum cleaner. He's a vacuum cleaner.
I feel like I would go Kyle Pitts and try to just go back after Deshaun next year. Hopefully, everything would be done by then. That's what I would do. Personally.
Only problem is you gave up these picks, but you can get picks back. You can trade Jimmy. You can trade Bosa. You can trade Kittle. There are ways to get picks back if you need to. If you need to.
I need an elite quarterback with that offense with Kyle Pitts in it. I just, man.
And people be like, hey, but as a GM, you can't trade up that far for a non-quarterback. Well, actually, as long as you take someone who ends up being good, you're okay. If you trade up that far for a bust, you're fired. So I don't think it really matters what position you take.
Yeah, and for me, so I feel like you still got second round. I think Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond would drop to the second. But for me in the second round, I forgot his name, but he reminds me of Troy Polamalu out of USC, the safety.
Oh, I don't know. I gotta look.
Like, I don't know. You gotta watch.
Hey, but think about Kellen Mond. Picture him with freaking Kyle Pitts on his team. Think about it.
Yeah, like I said, I think
what would his completion percentage have been if he could have thrown to Kyle Pitts 80 times? What was complete? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's where I would go. And then third round, I would hope Asante Samuels fell or something to the third and try to go there. But that was just my take. I'm agreeing with you on Kyle Pitts. Get ready for Hermosa now, man. It's good seeing you, Grant.
Hey, I love Hermosa Beach, man. I know my wife is jealous. She's from the Inland Empire, and I dragged her up to Oakland, and she kind of likes it, but it's way too cold.
Come down, man. Meet me at Sharky's, man. I got something for you, man. Come and drink.
All right, I'll hit you up when I'm down there, man. Have a good time.
All right, man.
Peace, man. Yeah. All right, man. Sorry I made you wait. I appreciate you waiting.
Oh, it's good, man. Don't worry about it.
Good to see you, man.
Good. Appreciate you having me.
Of course.
Hey, speaking of Kellen Mond, I wanted to talk about Kellen Mond. I think I'm not saying it's impossible, but dude, he might be a sleep. I'm thinking he might be like a sleeper dark horse pick for us.
Yes.
So, hear me out. Because Chris Sims got him ranked at number 4. Like
ahead of Fields and Lance, and I totally agree with him.
Mm-hmm. Also, well, remember what you said, or I think they were saying, the Shanahans, they hold their poker hands until the last moment. Who have they not talked about yet?
Kellen Mond,
right? And I'm saying, like, so if the consensus is if Kyle wants the Mac Jones type of guy, right? And Lynch wants the more mobile quarterback. Mond, both of them.
That's what I'm saying.
He's both of them. I saw that tape. I liked it.
I'm adamant that Kellen Mond is a better quarterback than Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields. I am adamant about it. I know no one in the world agrees with me. Chris Sims comes close, but I would go a step further and say that Kellen Mond is better than Mac Jones. So I'm saying
comp right now. I don't have enough evidence for this, but I see a lot of Russell Wilson, Donovan McNabb in him.
Ooh, that's very interesting. My comp for him is a little less ambitious. I see Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's excellent. Ryan Tannehill.
I like Tannehill a lot.
And he went from being kind of limited in the shotgun offense to under center, rolling out left and right, and look what he can do.
There's a lot of good word of mouth for Kellen Mond.
Hell yeah,
a lot of good. Like they're saying like, you need to let it loose. He's too stiff in the pocket. He needs to be more of an athlete. And what's the last point I was trying to make? Like you can sell Kellen Mond. Like if you're going up to 3 to get Mac Jones, why not? Like what's the difference between? I mean, I know Mac Jones is probably a better pocket passer at this point. But can he develop?
I don't know, man. I think if you put Kellen Mond at Alabama and gave him Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and Jerry Jeudy and all these dudes, like he would have been great too. I don't know.
The number 3 pick, that's just perceived value.
Yeah.
Like if we did the last year's draft again, Justin Herbert wouldn't be number 1.
No, he would definitely be 1. And the thing is, no one knows where Kellen Mond's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
He could go 4 to the Falcons. He could go 20 to someone. He could go second round. No one knows where Kellen Mond's going to go.
What's interesting to me is that Kyle said like there's 3 guys that we're sure of before we can move up to 3. I think he's lying. I think there's at least more than 3 guys.
Yep.
Maybe he doesn't know where Mun is. It's gonna fall, and he doesn't trust that he's gonna fall to 12, and he's got to go up to make sure. So that's all I gotta say.
Fingers crossed.
I know.
Good call, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, man? Where you calling from?
Man, I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
How'd you get in the Niners, man?
Man, for a while we didn't have a team. You know what I'm saying? Like for a while, I can remember Charlotte not having no team. So I just kind of gravitated to Jerry Rice. But I kind of wanted to talk about this whole like just the way they traded up, man. If Kyle Shanahan want Mac Jones, I'm cool with that. But my issue is that he traded 3 first-round picks. And to me, he can't draft Mac Jones because it's not going to be fair to Mac Jones, because me as a fan, I'm going to any bad pass he throws, I'm on him. I'm expecting him to be Justin Herbert or better, period. Because he has Ayuk, he has Mostert, he has Kittle. So I'm expecting, Justin Herbert or better. And if I don't get that, Kyle needs to get fired, and we need to go all in and get Aaron Rodgers.
He's not Justin Herbert. I'll tell you that right now.
I know. I know he's not Justin Herbert.
Yeah, you don't need me to tell you that. Yeah, of course.
So, I feel like he needs to either go with Justin Fields or Trey Lance, because me as a fan, I'm going to be more patient with those guys because I feel like they are more talented at the quarterback position than Matt Jones. I'm not saying Matt Jones, he can't be good, but we just don't have the kind of patience right now with this team and the players that they got, because I feel like we can win.
Going to have sky high expectations because of what they gave up, and anything short of meeting that is not acceptable. Now the other guys will have more time, but that's why me and the previous caller keep going to Kyle Pitts, because we feel like there's no way that dude underwhelms. There's no way, and even though he's not a quarterback, at least as a GM, I can be like, look, I took a Hall of Famer, fire me. I took a Hall of Famer.
I mean, they could have stayed at 12 and just drafted Kellen Mond. They could have got him at 12, or they could have just waited to the second round.
That's what I would have done. I wouldn't have traded up to 3. It feels like a panic move because they wanted Watson, but they're there now. Yeah, so you do.
Because you can't tell me you go from wanting Deshaun Watson to now picking Matt Jones at 3. Like, nah, you can't sell that to me as a fan. You can't. I just can't go with that.
Yeah, you went from a guy who is elite to a guy who might be Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0. It's a whole different thing, and you gave the same trade package to both.
And I'll tell you another thing. Matt Jones, he was with Tua at Alabama. They were there together, so he couldn't beat out. He couldn't beat out Tua. And Tua, to me, looks like an average at best quarterback. Small in the pocket, weak arm. I'm like, ugh. And another thing with Ohio State, though, which I think you forgot, Joe Burrow, he was at Ohio State.
He was.
And you see how he turned out. Now I don't know why he couldn't beat out Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, I know.
But he was at Ohio State.
He was. So your Fields, Team Fields, or
I think Fields is the better quarterback out the 3, but I think Lance would probably fit Kyle Shanahan the best, and I think he would probably be better on our team.
Makes sense.
But I think you can't pick Matt Jones, just because if you pick Matt Jones and Justin Fields or Lance, you watch them every week, and they look like they have a game like what's the quarterback in Philadelphia? Hurts. And me as a fan see that. I mean, we're going to come on your show and ask you to go ask Kyle, like, hey, did you see Justin Fields the other day versus the Chargers? Did you see? Do you regret that pick? Or that's what's going to happen, because that their athletic ability is going to allow them to have some type of game where they're just running around making plays before defensive coordinators catches on to what they do and make them have to pass from the pocket.
That's the best way to have success as a young quarterback, is to have some athleticism, because now you don't have to read everything correctly and execute.
Absolutely not.
Hey, thanks for the show, man. I appreciate it. Have a good one. I'm going to end it there. It's almost 11:30. If I didn't get you, I apologize. I'm sorry. Odin's love child says, get Pitts to play wide receiver. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Yup, agree with that. I gotta go have a nice day with my wife and my family. I'll be back this week, and I'll take some calls. Take care, everyone. Be safe.